It's an act of kindness that stuck with you to this day. At 16, I was neck deep in a sea of sadness. Home was more of a war zone than a sanctuary. Dad, with a bottle of whiskey always in arm's reach, swung between moods like a crazed pendulum. Mom, a shadow of her former self, was a ghost who shuffled through the house with her spirit crushed by years of verbal abuse and regret. My little sister, just 12, was learning too early how to tiptoe around the landmines of our home. Then there was my best friend, Jake. He was the only one who got it, the only one who carried a similar kind of darkness. We were two halves of a broken whole, bound by a silent understanding of shared pain. Jake and I, we were comrades in arms, fighting the same invisible enemy, depression. Jake had been struggling with his mental health for as long as I could remember. He had this way of wearing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, a mask that hid the turmoil beneath. We shared our darkest thoughts, our deepest fears over stolen beers on the old river bridge. The same bridge that would soon cast a long shadow over my life. One cold February morning, Jake's fight ended. He took his own life, leaving behind a note filled with apologies and a world that felt colder without him. His absence was a black hole, a void where laughter and shared dreams used to exist. With him gone, I felt like a ship lost at sea with my anchor gone. A few days after his funeral, I hit rock bottom. I figured I was done. Not in some dramatic, movie-like way, but with the kind of quiet I'm over it you feel when a rotten day finally ends. It was a chilly afternoon, the sky a dull mix of grays as I walked my sorry self to the old river bridge. The same bridge where Jake and I shared secrets, dreams, and those stolen beers. The bridge was my finish line. In my pocket, I had a single, cold beer, one last toast to life. I sat on the edge, letting my legs dangle over the rushing water, the wind biting through my thin jacket. I popped the beer open, the hiss echoing into the silence. Just as I was about to take a sip, I heard crunching gravel behind me. "Son, you can't drink here. You're underage. I could arrest you," a weathered voice said. I turned to see a cop, his stern face worn with years of service. I shrugged. "Does it really matter?" He studied me, his eyes searching mine. There was a long pause, a moment that stretched out like an eternity. Then he sighed as his stern facade crumbled. "No, I suppose it doesn't." He sat down next to me. "There are better ways to cope. Believe me, I've been there." I looked at him skeptically. "You? You've got no idea what I'm going through." He rolled up his sleeve, revealing a tapestry of faint scars that crisscrossed his skin. "I've been in your shoes, kid." We sat there, two strangers tied together by shared pain. He didn't try to take my beer or preach about the law. Instead, he offered me a cigarette, a small act of rebellion that felt oddly comforting. "Finish your beer, son," he said. "And when you're ready, I'll take you back to the station. We'll get you some help." That was supposed to be my last day, my last beer. But sitting there, on the bridge I'd chosen as my ending, I found a strange kind of beginning. The last beer on the bridge wasn't a toast to the end, but a bittersweet welcome to a second chance.